Hello, and today I'm going to be talking about limits, the limit of a function, the definition of a limit, and also the intuition behind the limit. I'm also going to be showing some graphs in order to better grasp this concept. Now, if we look at this expression in green right here, what does it say? It says that the limit of the function f of x as x approaches a is equal to b. What does that mean? This simply means that as the value of x gets closer and closer to a, the value of the function f of x is going to get closer and closer to b. Now, looking at the graph I drew for this function, now what's interesting about this function is that at a certain point, we can see an empty spot in there. And what that tells us is that this function at this particular point, ab, or f of a, is not defined, and the function does not exist at that point. To represent that, it's as if I was drawing the function and then I lifted my finger off the screen at exactly this point and then resumed drawing it. And for that reason, this function is called a discontinuous function, because at a certain point while drawing it, I had to lift my pencil from the screen. For a function to be continuous, you must draw it continuously and not lift your finger from the screen at any given point. And that means the function is defined for every point in its domain. Now, even though the function is not defined for when x equals a, could we still calculate the limit of the function when x is approaching a? Now, looking back here at the graph, you may notice that there are two possible ways in which x can approach the value of a. It can either approach from the right-hand side, or the positive number side, or from the left-hand side, or negative number side. The limit of the function when x is approaching from either of these sides is called a lateral limit, and they are given below. We write limit of f of x as x approaches a from the positive side, and the limit of f of x as x approaches a from the negative side. Now, our question from before, the actual limit of the function f of x, is only going to exist if and only if both of these limits exist and result in the same number. So let's take a look at each one individually and try to answer them just by looking at the graph. When x is approaching a from the right side, the function f of x is approaching what number? Well, if we look at it, it's going up and it's getting closer and closer to the value of b. The closer x is to a, the closer f of x will be to the value of b. Now, coming from the left side, we can see much of the same behavior. As x is approaching a, the function f of x is closing in on the value of b. Thus, we can see that for each lateral limit, be that x approaching a from the positive side, the limit is b, and when x is approaching a from the negative side, it's also b. Therefore, we can affirm that the limit of f of x as x approaches a is in fact b. So there you have it. I hope this video was helpful and was able to shed some light on this topic before moving into exercises and actually calculating limits of functions. And thank you for watching.